up, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome back to the DeFranco show, and let's just jump into it. Actually, a quick note before we do jump into it. In case you missed me saying it yesterday, this is not my new set. People were critiquing or saying like, I like this, I don't like it. This is not an artistic choice. Why would I choose a background that would enable people to blue screen me into porn? Also, seconds after saying that, I realized that I have now guaranteed that that is a thing that is going to happen. I'm in a friend's studio space in a room he rarely uses, and the hope is by next Monday we'll be in the place that I should have been in this week. But if it makes you feel any better, does it feel normal? Is your triggeredness subsiding? But now that we have that out of the way, first story. And the first thing I want to talk about today is an insane story. You may have seen this video over the past 3 days, but it is a roller coaster ride. And it's this video out of Kuwait. We see this woman hanging off of a balcony with one hand. She's shouting, "Hold me, hold me." The woman filming her reportedly says, "Oh crazy, come back." But then the woman falls. Reports saying that she fell from the 7th floor, landed, but did not die. Reportedly, she somehow only broke her arm. She also had some bleeding from her nose and ears, but relatively minor injuries when you consider someone falling 7 stories. So the question became, what the hell happened? And so information started coming out. The woman that fell was reportedly a maid. The woman who was filming was reportedly her employer. As far as why the employer was saying that she was filming her maid, she said she didn't want people to think that she murdered her. She wanted to have evidence. And as far as why the woman was hanging off the balcony, local reports said that the woman was suicidal. She was trying to kill herself. So that was the initial report, and then people asked more questions. One, is the employer in the wrong for choosing to film rather than try and rescue the woman that could die? That caused a debate of, is she at fault because she didn't try to help? Others arguing that no, why should she try to help? If this is a suicidal person, who knows, she could pull her over the ledge with her. But then also people started asking the question, if someone is suicidal and they're trying to kill themselves, why would they then say, hold me, and not just jump off the edge? Well, the newest update to the story is that reporters have talked to the woman in the hospital, and she said she wasn't trying to kill herself. She said she was trying to escape from her employer, the woman who was filming her, because she was trying to kill her, saying, quote, "The lady put me in the bathroom and was about to kill me in the bathroom without anybody finding out. She would have thrown my body out like rubbish. So instead of staying there, I went to save myself and then I fell." And so now reports have come in that her employer, who happens to be an Ethiopian national, she was detained, and a spokesperson for Human Rights Watch says that this is not a unique incident, saying the Kuwaiti press often reports such stories as attempted suicides. As with this recent incident, they usually don't question whether these were suicide attempts or rather attempts to escape. In 2009, Human Rights Watch spoke to 8 women who were reported as having attempted suicide, but who said they had really fallen from buildings trying to escape abuse or were pushed by their employers. Adding, "I have interviewed hundreds of domestic workers in the Gulf region. Many said their employers locked them inside, forced them to work excessive hours, and beat them. Some scrambled down or jumped off buildings to escape." And the reason I talk about this is specifically for 2 reasons. The first being that I personally wasn't aware that this was such a big issue and I wanted to talk about it and share it. And the second being that this is a fantastic example of why it's always important that we get the other side of the story. When I first saw this story being shared, I saw so many comments of like, well, who cares about her? If she's gonna risk killing herself, why should anyone else risk their life just because she's suicidal? Whereas now, thanks to new information, we see that this was actually a woman trying to hold on to life. But from there, I want to share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome, brought to you by the Don't Be Stupid shirt. I don't know what happened. We haven't offered this shirt in a while, and I've seen a ton of requests to bring it back, so for the next 5 days, boom, shirts and tanks, links down below. And I'm gonna do this really quick because I want to fit some of the awesome from yesterday that I didn't get to put in the show because I didn't do it today in Awesome segment. The first is that we got a brand new trailer for The Mummy, aka Tom Cruise shoots a bunch of people again, the movie. Also this time there's magic involved. Then we got a brand new trailer for The War of the Planet of the Apes, aka Woody Harrelson shoots at chimpanzees with a machine gun, the movie. Then we got a trailer for the Netflix series Girl Boss, aka the series about building a business from the ground up in the clothing industry, where they most likely won't acknowledge that the brand that this is based off of had a scandal with child labor. Still looks like a good series though. Then I just gotta give props to the best April Fool's joke ever. Adult Swim actually deciding to stream season 3 episode 1 of Rick and Morty on their website. A thing that I was excited about, I experienced, I tweeted out, and 80% people didn't believe me. Didn't even click the link. They thought I was messing with them. Also, if you already watched that episode and you have a craving now for Szechuan sauce, don't worry, YouTuber Andrew Ray has you covered. In case you want to learn how to cook it, also I've heard murmurings of people trying to get McDonald's to bring it back. And if you like Louis C.K. and you have a Netflix subscription, rejoice! Louis' new special 2017 is now live on Netflix for your view and pleasure. And if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. And then I want to give an update to that story about the Slingshot channel and those hypocrites hypocrites over at the Daily Mail. If you missed yesterday's show, the Mail on Sunday, the Daily Mail, they posted a headline, Google blood money, accusing Google of profiting off of a video that teaches terrorists, teaches extremists how to stab through a stab-proof vest, even though the video was really just a review of a very flawed product. And we exposed the Daily Mail for being hypocrites yesterday because they themselves have done something very similar. And not even just the organization, I mean the author of the article. They wrote an article exposing a flaw in the system that allowed them to get knives that were deadlier than the ones used on the 9/11 attack, they said. Showed people how they could do it and then showed those knives on an airplane. Well, the update to YouTube making a reactionary move and removing that video, putting a strike on the Slingshot channel. After this has gained a lot of press, they have removed the strike from the man's channel, and they worked with him on how he needs to present those videos in the future to avoid these kind of problems. So all in all, just kind of a good story for YouTube, because among all this chaos right now with the ads, YouTube, the creators, it's good to see that even though an established old news outlet can overextend and cause some ridiculous faux outrage, that after all of that, YouTube has gone out of their way to try and make things right for the creator. The cynical part of my brain says, though, hopefully it doesn't take so many people talking about it in the future for a good outcome. Then in advertisement backtrack news, let's talk about what company has come under fire today. Today that company is Nivea. And Nivea's in the news because they posted and then very quickly deleted an ad they put up on Facebook. It was an ad for their invisible deodorant where they feature a woman with dark hair in a white robe with the tagline, "White is purity." And very quickly there were people who were legitimately angry about this ad and people who were just trolling Nivea. And the people that were angry were saying that it's racially insensitive to say white is better. It's racist. The only people I ever hear talk about white purity are white supremacists. And to that I say, don't be stupid. The first is that if you do think that this ad is racially insensitive, I don't know how to help you. The trolls, while I'm not on their side, I get at least where they're coming from. They want to poke and prod the professional victim cry bullies. Also to the advertisers here, you're kind of stupid here because you're an advertiser. You're supposed to plan for the stupid people. And if we're really going to debate it, depending on which system you're talking about, white is either all or nothing. Scientifically, if we're talking about the visible spectrum, white is actually the inclusion of all colors. Maybe Nivea was promoting a world where we were all one people. A world that is divided, but when you really break it down, we all come together, we are one. Or they were just trying to describe their stupid fucking deodorant. I'm just saying that it's not saying what you're saying it's saying. It's like if I had a coffee company, it's one of those places like they really care about their coffee. They don't put stuff in it. Freshly roasted beans, certain temperature water, we put it on a poster, boom. Tagline reads, "Black's the only way." That tagline's talking about the coffee, it's not calling for the end of the white people. And I know from hearing this story, some people are gonna go, man, I love Phil. Phil just says it like it is. He doesn't even care if people that were offended by this unsubscribe. And to that I say, kinda. I also just think that if you were offended by this, you're probably not smart enough to figure out how to unsubscribe. But let's jump to the next story. And then let's talk about what young people like. There was a Google-funded study that looked into what 13 to 17-year-olds were aware of and they thought were cool. And in this Google-funded research, they found 13 to 17-year-olds, otherwise usually known as Generation Z, think that the three coolest things are Google-owned YouTube, Netflix, and Google itself. And just because it's Google that funded it, it feels a little bit like if I was like, okay, we conducted a survey and the three most popular news shows, the Philip DeFranco show, the Vloggy, that's not even a news show, and number 3, nothing. Weird and unexpected, but it's an honor to win. So let's say it's a legitimate study, even though the front page of this study reads, "It's lit, a guide to what teens think is cool." Just off the bat, that cover letter is as cool as a guy I used to work with that would just not stop about how woke he was. You're 38, you're actually a huge sexist. You're a scumbag and you ruined everything you touched, Greg. His name's not Greg, but I know he still watches this show. That said, what do the kids think is cool? For video games, you have the Really, Google? You misspelled The Legend of Zelda, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Grand Theft Auto, Pokemon, Minecraft, and CSGO. Top 3 shoe brands, you got Jordan, Converse, and Vans. Then for favorite music, Drake, Beyonce, The Beatles, and Coldplay? They also then compare the likes of Gen Z to millennials, the people in the study being aged 18 to 24, and the likes and awareness are pretty much the same. It's just that in general, everything except it looks like TMZ moves over to the right for everything being a little more cool, so a little less angst, and then some big jumps with brands like Vice, which is listed as a brand that's not very known or thought of as cool, to something that just in a few years becomes way cooler and more people are known about. So a big difference with millennials. And I have a lot of questions looking at this study, but my biggest question is, I don't know if I can believe it, because this breakdown of social media usage by gender states that more people in this age group use a Google Plus to Twitter. And this could be one of those areas where I'm completely out of touch, but I didn't think anybody used Google+. Unless they're cheating those numbers and they're saying anyone that has like a YouTube account or something like that has a Google+ account. And there's a lot more information you can jump into here. Here's my final thought on this. The best brands out there know what they are from the get-go and then listen to their users. Netflix, one of the most popular and known about services on this list in this study. One, some of you might not even remember this, they almost completely screwed themselves with rebranding back in 2011. They were gonna separate their buy mail and their streaming service. They were creating a brand called Quickster. The fans got angry, the company listened to them, they killed Quickster, they combined everything. And I feel like that's a great way to run a business, but also to live your life. Do your own thing, be your own person, but also know when to listen and don't take criticisms as attacks. In my opinion, that's always gonna give you your best shot. And as I feel like I've kind of done with this story, always try and learn something from everything you come across. There really is a lesson in almost everything if you look hard enough. I think that's a note I want to end on today, something that's universal and hopeful. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you missed and want to watch yesterday's Philip DeFranco show, you can click or tap right there. If you want to see today's brand new behind the scenes vlog, you can click or tap right there. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.